Spoilers for Chapter 24 of The Mandalorian. Hello there, I want to talk about the Darksaber and what happens to it in the finale of The Mandalorian Season 3, spoilers ahead. Now I've seen a lot of things online about how the Darksaber was made meaningless, why did they destroy it, and stuff like that. First and foremost, no, the destruction of the Darksaber was not pointless. I've talked in the past about how Star Wars fans sometimes need everything spelt out for them on screen, as if something isn't said aloud, they don't get it. It goes right over their head. Last week there was a Reddit post with someone asking, why didn't Paz Vizsla just jetpack away? Why didn't he just fly away? Now, nothing is said on screen, but it's clearly shown on screen that his jetpack is sparking and smoking and probably not functional. Some people might need a line for him to be like, oh, my jetpack, it's not working, or need to see him try to take off to establish that, but visually you can make that connection. But not even that, Paz Vizsla is not the type of person who would run from this fight, and I believe that even if it were functional, he would stay and fight. Now we move on to this week, and I've seen this review in particular floating around on Twitter, and I couldn't disagree with it more. It's from Collider, and no disrespect to them or the reviewer, but this section of the review really stood out to me as very much missing both the point of the Darksaber and the season at large. This part in particular, it's tossed aside and destroyed by Moff Gideon, largely undermining 3 series, including the animated ones, that built up its importance to the Mandalorians. Now let's talk about symbolism and subtext a little bit here. The Darksaber is viewed as this ancient relic that whoever wields it has the right to rule Mandalore. It's a symbol that has the power to unite all Mandalorians. And yet it has also been the cause of so much infighting and division amongst the Mandalorian people for years. Oh, you want to rule Mandalore but don't have the Darksaber? Then we won't follow you. Oh, you have the Darksaber and want to rule Mandalore? Well, I challenge you for it. The Darksaber seemingly causes more problems than it solves. We even see some of bo-katan's own Mandalorians turn against her after Maul claims the Darksaber in the Clone Wars. Now, while it is true that the Darksaber has the ability to unite the Mandalorians, it has just as much, if not more, ability to divide them again and again, as we've seen. And its destruction, particularly by the hands of Moff Gideon, who wanted to purge the Mandalorian people, it's especially poetic because by destroying the thing that was supposed to unite them but caused so much division, it now allows the Mandalorians to forge a new path forward, a path that won't be constrained by an ancient relic and a somewhat flimsy belief system. By removing the Darksaber, Mandalore and the Mandalorians are finally united and have retaken the homeworld of Mandalore. Now, while I'm sure some people would have loved a scene at the end with bo-katan saying at the end of the episode, but what am I to do now that I don't have the Darksaber? I can't lead my people. And then Din Djarin would say, you don't need the Darksaber to lead. The real Darksaber was inside you all along. That sounds wrong. But for me, that scene is just unnecessary because everything that's already been put out there, everything that we know about the Darksaber and the Mandalorians and the division that it's caused, we know that its destruction is ultimately a good thing. So just because something isn't said outright on screen doesn't mean that there isn't information still being presented to you. Now, this is just my interpretation of everything, but people complaining about the Darksaber being made meaningless or whatever, in my opinion, you've missed the point. That's all I wanted to say about the Darksaber. I just wanted to get that one off my chest. Make sure you follow me here and on TikTok, same username, Cubcos. Talk about Star Wars all the time, and I have a lot of fun doing it. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is The Way.